We have a webinar, a scheduled weekly webinar every Thursday night at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. People have signed up through Meta ads, but we're also doing TikTok Live. So we're doing TikTok Live. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I see a lot of people joining. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Yes, thank you. Thank you for coming on board. If you want to type in there where you're from, love to hear it. Love to hear it. We're in San Diego, California, and that's where we're hosting the meeting from. Love to hear where you're from. Type in where you're from and what kind of product you're doing. And so it is exactly 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 o'clock Eastern time. So we're going to be starting. This is our fast moving consumer goods, launching real consumer brands in 90 days. This is a webinar where I'm going to go through and explain a blueprint on how to launch a product in 90 days without costing a ton of mistakes, how to choose the right manufacturer, and more importantly, doing the right sequence of operations. Who we are, we're fast moving consumer goods. We're a community of over 40,000 members in our LinkedIn group. We have 30-year veterans. Both myself and Jorge have been doing this 30 years. CPG brands, both in the food, beverage, and cosmetic space. Also nutraceutical products. And soon we're going to be launching a new program for emerging brands for alcohol and spirits. So get ready. We're going to be announcing that. So this is our incubator. What it is, we invite people to join the incubator. We can help with all different types of things that you need. We've launched over 1,000 items. So let's get started. Everyone get ready, get something to drink. I have my iced tea here. So get a alcoholic beverage, a cup of coffee, an energy drink, anything that you need to get started. And we'll get going. Also get a pen and paper or take notes. If you don't want to take notes, this video will be up on our YouTube channel tomorrow. It'll be on our YouTube channel tomorrow. You can go and find it at Fast Moving Consumer Goods, and it'll be there. So let's get started. This is sponsored by CPG Experience. Who are they? Shannon and his group have put together the event. What it is, it's a traveling trade show, an existing trade show. So right now they're in Las Vegas at the Snack Expo in Las Vegas. 2 weeks ago, they were in Los Angeles. Some of our clients in our incubator went there. And basically what he does, instead of you as an independent brand go out and spend $10,000 for a booth, which when you do plus is $20,000. He rents a booth, a 20 by 50 booth, cuts them up in 4-foot spaces. So you have the area there, you have your logo, you have your product there, you're talking to people coming by. But then he invites buyers and the group does the buyers. So I believe we got 380 buyers that came through their booths at the show. So our brands are now following up with them. So our sponsor is CPG Experience. Thank you so much, Shannon, for your trust with us. The anatomy of a successful product launch. This looks very complicated, but it's not, right? It's just steps. I like to break it down to 12 steps or 12 weeks, but this is the anatomy of one. And then there's different layers and different floors, which we'll get into. From idea to shelf life in 90 days. So we've done it. It is possible. We have a 12-week incubator that we've used to do it. So works very, very well. You can have an idea. Most of you here are currently working or have a job, have an idea on a napkin, and we help you get to the final stages, right? The assembly stage of doing it. This statistic I like a lot. This is a Nielsen number, by the way. 85% of all consumer packaged goods fail within their first year. And a lot of people ask us why, right? So it's not there was something wrong with the product. It wasn't that it was a bad taste or the entrepreneur didn't have passion or hustling. It was just poor execution. They did it in the incorrect order, and a lot of them were just guessing at what to do. Right, so that's what we've seen. So today you're going to learn what successful CEOs do to launch a brand. So 90 days to market. Here's the roadmap. We've broken it down into phase one and phase two. So phase one is the foundation and product fit, and phase two is the launch and exit strategy. So we're going to go over one by one from structure, decisions, reverse engineer via the avatar, financial architecture, D2C, scaling, and position for an early exit. So let's get into it, right? The traps of guessing. Main point number one, you have an idea. A lot of people don't know what their next step should be. So sometimes they go into number two, which is costly early mistakes, expensive decisions. They talk to the wrong formulator, or they talk to the wrong manufacturing, and then they get frustrated and either give up, or we meet them like over here at the stress or delay part before it goes into abandonment. But what happens usually in the journey of an entrepreneur, it ends up happening at the end. Few myths. The hobbyists think that their idea is so great, it's going to sell by itself. Not true. The CEO knows that great products fail daily, right? It's all built on margins, positioning, sequencing, determining, not just the idea. They also the perfect product before thinking of the business, right? So brand positioning and margin strategy has to decide on the formulation. And then last but not least, a lot of entrepreneurs believe they have to order a full truckload to get the best price. They think everything is about price. And we change that and flip it on its head, that guessing MOQs before you have a proof of concept leaves you with a lot of unsaleable dead stock. So we have people in our incubator today that own inventory that cannot be sold. They had a co-manufacturer convince them that the best price was a truckload, which yes is the case, but you have to prove the model, do a proof of concept before you can go sell. So main point number two, market ready in 12 weeks without guesswork, right? So foundation IP, that's my favorite. We want you to set up a C corporation in the state, a zero tax state, such as Nevada or Wyoming. Wyoming's my favorite. Also, we want you to set up a C-Corp. The reason you do that is because when you have an exit, Rule 1202, they pay zero capital gains, doesn't work in an LLC, doesn't work in an S-Corp. Also, you can bring investors in unless you're extremely wealthy and will never, ever need to raise capital, or you have 3 or 4 people, LLCs work. But our recommendation, it needs to be a C-Corp. Also, before we even design on the product, we want to know who your customer is. We really dig deep. We ask you to dig deep. Who is your customer, right? You need to envision who that customer is, who's going to sit down, who's going to buy your product, who's going to drink your product, who's going to eat your product. Where do they shop, right? Do they go to restaurants? Do they order online? Do they go to the local 7-Eleven? Do they shop at Whole Foods? Do they shop at Sprouts? All those things come into place before we actually do formulation. So supply chain mastery, then we figure out cost. COGS, we call it, cost of goods sold, COGS. Then we start working on the brand because we already know who your avatar is. So we start looking at the brand and then also getting ready for retail and capital raising. Who are we? My name is Sandro Pianconi. I'm one of the co-founders, and Jorge Olson. We've built several distribution companies, both in the US and Mexico. Jorge distributed to over 17,000 stores in the US, and we were the Miller Beer distributor in Mexico. So we have knocked on thousands of doors, called people. We had fax specials. So those of you who are younger don't know what a fax machine is. We were faxing specials every week to the buyer so they could place an order. We've launched over 1,000 items. We've written several books between us. We have over 10 books on Amazon. Our newest one is called Wholesale MBA. And what I like to tell people, if they actually buy the book and read it, you don't need to work with us or hire us because we give you everything to do it. Most people don't read the book, or they do, and then they want to partner with us, hire us to help them go faster and scale it. So that's who we are. I'm Sandro Pinconi and Jorge Olson. We've launched over 1,000 items: food, beverage, supplements, alcohol brands, real SKUs, real shelves, real distribution. We help with formulation, manufacturing, supply chain, online sales, wholesale distribution, retail sales, and if you would interested in exporting to Mexico. On the right, that is Jaime, one of our clients in the incubator, launched a tequila brand. The eye drink is from Dr. Wu, the eye drink. And then we have Calmara, which is a healthy energy drink for gamers and people that like anime. And then to the right is a dentist that's doing a mouthwash. Some of our clients who've been in the incubator are to the left is Rick Ross, and the center is Snoop Dogg, and to the right are Cheech and Chong. So we've worked on several different SKUs, from gummies to vapes to beverages and different products in between. So the 90-day blueprint, from beverage idea to global brand exit, we can set up. We talked a little bit about the C-Corp. The other big thing is IP, so we can help you with your trademark. We need to make sure you have a trademark. We do not want you to launch your product or even talk to anyone until the trademark is filed. Then we can talk about idea validation, customer avatars, funding, engineering. We could talk about all those things that we can go to. So we take you down the path for that. So we already talked about pillar number one, the entity setup. We will work with you to make sure that it's done correctly. Pillar number two is IP protection. We want to make sure that you have the trademark done. And if you have some kind of patentable product, not a formulation, but maybe a patentable ingredient or something of that nature, we would help with that. And then pillar three is for those existing people that may own a business, or to set up the corporation correctly is we'll set you up so you can qualify for research and development tax credits up to $500,000. So you can either use that for your existing company and take it off your taxes, use it as a payment for your taxes, or as you grow and start making capital, you will have tax credits in advance. So a lot of people don't take advantage of this, and you should be taking advantage of it. Customer number two, the most important part is we need you to define the buyer, right? We will help, but we'll define the buyer to engineer the margins to build the product, right? So we need to know who that perfect person is, who they sell to. A lot of our clients say, oh, everyone can buy the product. That's not true, right? Where they buy it is also, do they buy it in a gym? Do they buy it online? Do they go to a supermarket? Will they buy it in an airport? So that's the type, what we need to understand, that demographic, and then work backwards, right? How much are they willing to pay? What's the margin? So we can design that product. Once we have all those things, then we can talk about ingredients, because the ingredients are affected by the COGS, the cost of goods sold, for the sale price. Then co-manufacturing. We always want to have a plan A and a plan B. In 30 years, we've seen everything. We've seen a factory go up in smoke. We've seen one flooded. You always want to have two things. Sometimes, generally, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, to save money on freight, but not necessarily. You just have to have a plan B. So if something does go wrong, you're not getting to know that vendor from scratch. Also, before you go into full production, we call it so on a formulation, we do what are called tabletop samples, where you would send them to your circle of influence, to people you trust, to influencers, make sure that the product's right. Then once it's a tabletop, then we take it into what we call proof of concept, where it's made in a factory, but at small quantities, maybe 1,000 to 10,000, just to make sure it works. And also, if something goes wrong, we use those as samples. Or maybe something does go wrong, but the printing was incorrect or something, you just want to change it. That does not fit into your cost of goods sold. Sometimes that product costs the same price of what you would sell it for, but we say, let's put it in the marketing bucket. And then really what we do is we focus on cost of goods sold for the larger quantities. So 10,000, 20,000, 50, a truckload, right? Also, at this point, we talk about 3PL logistics. We figure out where your customers are, where we're going to ship to. We have a lot of reputable, different 3PL logistics. A lot of people want to do it out of their garage to save money. We strongly recommend not to do that for a whole host of reasons. 3PLs, they're professional. They have insurance. They have rates. They have really good contracts with USPS, UPS, FedEx. They can usually ship it quicker and faster and cheaper than you can. Plus, let's say you're on vacation or you're at work while you're sleeping, getting orders, they're picking and packing and shipping. Also, we can talk about later when you go to raise capital, having a third party audit is easier than you having to count it to do an audit. So then we get into verifications. If you need certified organic, NSF, COAs, Amazon, TikTok are now asking for COA. So we'll get into that. Then the fun part. Everyone wants to get to this first. They want to talk about branding. So we will work with you and your team to come up with the logo, the backstory, the lore, the look and feel, packaging, digital storefronts. So digital storefronts mean a lot of things today, right? So a lot of people think it's just the website or Instagram, but it's everything, right? It's TikTok. It's everything that we do. A lot of people, a lot of our clients want to get the product ready and they want to go sell retail. And we ask them, why is that? So there's a lot of challenges with retail. Yes, it's wonderful. Yes, it's sexy to be in Whole Foods or to be in Target, but there's a couple things that go wrong with that. Number one, there's a gatekeeper. So the gatekeeper is the director of purchasing or for that category. And they do their categories, once every 6 months, once a year. So you'll have to wait a year. And then like most entrepreneurs, you need cash tomorrow, you need to sell. So then you might have 3 items and they say, let's try 1 item. So, and then once you do get the purchase order, you'll give them 30 days credit. They pay you in 60 or 90 days credit. So what we recommend is we go straight to TikTok shop. There is no gatekeeper. It's you. We democratize the purchasing decision. It's you telling the story to everyone. If they like your story, they like who you are, they like the benefits of the product, they can order right away. We don't have to wait for a gatekeeper. Second, you get paid in advance, so you're not handling terms. And then we can control margins. We can figure out everything we need to figure out before we're ready for prime time, which is retail. And then what's interesting is the people that are looking at TikTok now are young buyers that maybe work for a Costco or work for a Target, and they see the product, they like the product, they will order it even to test it themselves and then make a phone call to say, hey, we're interested in carrying that product. And once that phone call is done, it's a much easier sell than doing cold calling. So we talked a little bit about retail strategy. When you are ready and you have the capital and we've worked all the bugs out, we have proven buyer presentation systems. We understand slotting fees. We have EDI, all the proper insurances. How do you do it? We're always looking for different ways to sell. So, for example, one of our people in the incubator is an eye drink, which I showed you on the last slide. If you go to 7-Eleven to sell that product, they probably get hit up 1,000 times. But if you go to a vision store or a doctor's office or a chain of doctor's offices, they don't get hit up 1,000 times. And so this is a great product for them to carry with great margins. And last but not least, in every entrepreneur's journey, at some point, you're going to need to raise capital. So we call it either seed capital, Reg CF, Reg A, or we've taken companies public on the NASDAQ, IPO. So we've been through the rodeo. We help you do that. So there's different funding rounds. Usually the first one is seed. You've heard it called friends and family. That's probably where you would be it. Or if you have experience, because maybe you worked at a large company like Coca-Cola or Poppy and had an exit, you would probably go to a Reg CF or a Reg A. So main point number 3, the cost of implementation. When you're on your own and you're talking to different people, we've been on calls with founders that, bring their CPA on the line to do a sales call, or in reverse, they bring their lawyer on. And so they do it in just a different order. And so we have a strict, integrated route that we have: legal, finance, CPA, product development, manufacturing has to be done in a certain pattern to get there. So it needs to be coordinated, and it's a system to get it going. So a little bit about exits, right? We like to talk about exits. All companies, all founders, when they design their business model, is to, especially if you're going to bring in an investor. Investor doesn't want to be stuck in the company for 20 years, right? They want to know that there's a plan, there's an exit. Either they're going to sell the company, it's going to go public, or they're going to be bought out, right? At least you give them the option to be bought out. They may decide to stay. So a lot of you know the company Poppy. So prior to Poppy, before the equity group came in and invested capital, this was before, in the incubation stage. It was more like a medicinal product, apple cider vinegar type look and feel. They came in with the prebiotics, put it in a great looking can. They did a lot on TikTok. They had influencers. They shared equity with TikTok influencers and built it up. And so they had a $2 billion exit. They got the company to about 100 million in revenue, so 19 and a half times revenue, which is spectacular. Playbook, they pivoted from a dietary supplement to a modern soda. TikTok, we talked about, and Ground War, they had a lot of DSC distributors opening accounts for it. I love this story more than anything. This is a local San Diego company, Once Upon a Farm. You've probably seen it in Target. You've seen TV commercials with Jennifer Garner, but the company was started in University City, really out of a garage. I met the founder. His name is Ari Raz. He is the president of Naturally, which is a nonprofit group to help brands scale, called Naturally. It's a nationwide association, but also he is now the CEO of Coconut Cult, which is a prebiotic and probiotic yogurt company. But he was one of the founders of Once Upon a Farm. It went public on the New York Stock Exchange at a $724 million IPO. And then Sal's is a new hot sauce that's doing very, very, very well. So eliminating the friction, right? Who did we build this blueprint model program for? Are people that say, hey, I don't have enough time. So it's built for full-time professionals. Most of our clients, our VIP clients, are doctors who do not have a lot of time. So we ask them to spend 1 hour per week, which is enough on our structured roadmap. This is designed specifically for first-time founders. So you do not need to have been down the rodeo before. We help you in the rodeo. We've been through it. And then people are afraid of making mistakes. So one of our big selling points is we've been doing it 30 years. We've made every mistake in the book. Our job is to make sure you don't make those mistakes. So we are there step by step along the way. Two ways you can work with us. We have our VIP clients that come to us one-on-one. We have weekly meetings with them. That's one way we can work. The other way we work is that we have a group session. It's a 12-week incubator. Depending on when we set up a call and talk to you and see where you are in your journey, where you better fit. Obviously, they have different price points, but we have modules. We have live founder calls. We have planners. We have unlimited help desk. We introduce you to vendors. So you may be in your journey where you already have your formula and you just need help in supply chain and manufacturing, or you need a formulation. So just depending on where you are in your journey, we can help. But let's fast forward, right? We're May 20th or 21st. 90 days from now, if you were to come on board, you would have your corporation up and running. You would have your trademark filed. You would have your what brand, who your avatar is. You'd have a formulation. You'd have a minimal viable product, right? MVP, minimal viable product, ready to go, right? So that could all be done in 90 days. What I'd like to do is, at this point, is take it for questions. So hold on here. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay. So, hi, everyone. So, we got quite a few people on. We got questions going on TikTok Live. So, at this point, I'd like to open up for questions. We are going to do something special today. We have what we call a hot seat. So, we have one of our people that came on the webinar maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, worked with us. They are now on board. We're going to put them on the hot seat and ask them questions. We're going to be gentle. We're going to hear their story. And then brand new entrepreneur, did a lot of homework. We gave her some homework. She came through with flying colors. But why don't we do this? Let's see. Do we have questions, Fernando, or not yet? We don't have questions. So let me. Oh, we got quite a few people on today. Quite a few. Quite a few. So why don't we do this? Let me. You'll love this story. So Nicole, if we can let you on. Let me see here. Okay, have we unmuted you? Fernand, oh, there you go. Nicole, can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So, not only do you have the group that all came through that are on the webinar, but you also have maybe 100 or 200 people on TikTok. So, that's
Okay.
wonderful. And this is going to go
Thanks.
live on our LinkedIn tomorrow for
Awesome.
41,000 people. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, the
Yeah.
company, your idea, and we call it the hero's journey, and what kind of product you're looking to launch.
Yeah, sure. So, hi guys, I'm Nicole. I am the founder of Frushi. I am in the middle of developing a hydration powder that is geared towards families. This is all new to me. I've never done a beverage brand before. I come from the real estate space, so very different sides of the world here. Um, I am a mom of a 4-year-old boy who is a very, very picky eater, as most moms will know how that goes. So for me, it's always been very important to find nutrition in anywhere I could. However, I could sneak in a little extra vitamin here or there, that's what I was going for. And I found myself in a grocery aisle reading labels, like most moms do. And the problem I found was that most beverage powders in the market right now are not geared towards families. They're very focused on athletes, people looking to add protein into their diet, electrolytes into their diet. Now they even have collagen. Everything was more adult. I didn't see anything in the market that was geared for families, especially something that I felt comfortable giving my 4-year-old little boy. And so I came up with the idea of Frushi. It's fruit-based powder. It's going to taste delicious. As I told Sandro, my goal is to take the concept of a Kool-Aid and make it healthy. So if Kool-Aid were healthy, it'd be Frushi. And so here I am. We're in the development stage now. I'm excited to be working with Sandro and the team. Yeah, I'm really excited. So I just launched TikTok about a month ago and just building my following there while everything gets built out on the other side. And we'll see how this goes, but I have big dreams and I hope Frushi turns into something real.
So, Nicole, excellent. Thank you. Love the story.
Yeah,
Love the desire, the passion behind it, and that your son loves it. So, Nicole was doing her own formulation, which is
I was.
awesome. Awesome. At least she knows what she likes and what she doesn't like. So when she got on with our formulators and we did a call, it was much easier because she knew what she wanted and she knew what she didn't want. Right. So that made it easy. She gave us some goalposts. Couple things. So I love that you're on TikTok. I know we asked you to do that. People love the story. They love the entrepreneur story. So obviously this can go on, right? We'll cut it
Yeah,
for you and send it. When you get your first samples, or maybe before when you were doing your own, that's funny, right? Especially if you would have gave some to your son and he didn't like it or he spit it out, that would be hilarious. So all those things are in the journey, right? Until we
yeah,
get to the perfect People want to feel part of it, right? People think that they need to be in 10,000 stores. Really, you need about 1,000 believers, 1,000 followers that love what you're doing, right? That's what you
Absolutely.
really need. And that's what we're going to help you build. Everyone who's been on this, I know a couple people I see have been on for a couple of weeks. Once the product's ready, we have your minimal viable product. What I want you to do is go to a farmer's market, right? I'm a big, big believer in farmers markets because you're going to meet all the right people, right? You're going to meet moms, you're going to meet dads, you're going to meet young people, old people, hippies, you're going to meet everyone, right? And you want them to taste the product and say, what do you think of the product? Would you pay? How much would you pay for it? So on and so forth, right? So I think that's the best thing in the world is to do that, right? And sell, right? A lot of entrepreneurs, they tell me, hey, I need cash. Well, did you go to the farmer's market this weekend? Well, no. You could go there, you can get cash. It could be $1,000, $2,000. They're very inexpensive, but we're going to supercharge it, Nicole, by setting up a tripod with some lights. And
Right.
while you're selling, it's on TikTok. So the people are asking questions, you're answering the questions, great content, but there'll be a buy button down at the bottom. So if someone who's not in, you're in Virginia, so refresh my memory.
Maryland. Yeah.
Maryland. So someone who's not in Maryland, who's not going to your farmer's market, and if I'm in San Diego, I could order it and it would be shipped. So that's the wonderful world. We didn't have all this 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Now we have it. We need to use it to the best of our abilities. Also, me and Nicole talked about when she said not only that she wanted healthy for her kids, her son, but also that those ingredients will be able to be sold in a Whole Foods or in a Sprouts, which we help do that once the product's done and ready to go for that. I know you said you were a little hesitant at the beginning, but you've everything we've asked you to do from setting up the corporation for the trademark. So now you can tell people what the name is because you have the little TM.
Yeah.
If someone's interested, if there's moms on here or they see it tomorrow on LinkedIn, 41,000 buyers, and they say, hey, that's cool. When it's ready, can I, get a sample? Can you tell a little bit the people listening where they can go to get more information?
Yeah, so you can follow me on TikTok. It's at Drink Frushi. I will also add here in the chat a little sign up form if you want to just keep in touch and get more information as we're developing. Or you can email me at nicole@drinkfrushi.com.
Awesome, Nicole. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me? This is the hot seat. It's in reverse. Is there something that we skipped or you listened to the PowerPoint that I jumped around? I know you're at the beginning and you're worried about the product, but anything in the future, any questions?
Um, yeah, so I'm just curious as to how the pre-sale side of things work because once I have those 100 samples, I intend to start sending them out to maybe some influencers to kind of gen up some pre-sales. How does that end of things work, or what's been your experience on pre-selling?
Yeah, so I see a lot of people like you have a landing pager on the wait list, right? So if you did a video and you had, let's say, 100 people, 500 people sign up, hey, I'm interested, right, on something like that, that's a pre-sale, right? There's
Okay.
interest, right? So that instead of doing 100, we could do 500. But after you send it to them, you need to be very transparent, right? With a letter from you, why you started it, why, and these are the 100 that get you interested. I still have to go to production. It's going to take 30 days or 25 days or 40 days or whatever. So just being you don't want to, I've done other things. So we're here. So if let's say I asked you, Nicole, what's the best flavor? You're going to say, I don't know. I think it's strawberry lemonade, right? What you could do is run ads, right, on Facebook, right? An A and a B. Do one with strawberry, one with grape. Run the ads. They go to click, and when they get to the click to buy it, let them go through, and then at the end say, "Hey, we were just testing this. Thank you. When we're ready, we'll send you a free thing." Right? So you can do that to see, do people really want grape or do they really want lemon? All those things, right? So those are things you can do that don't cost any. They cost a little bit of money, but it's not, you didn't make 10,000 strawberry lemonade, but everyone wanted grape, right? Or
Right.
something like that. So you collect all that information, you get their name and their email. That's your tribe, right? Because If someone clicks, it's because they were interested in getting a healthy Kool-Aid, right?
Right.
So that's how I would do it. Be very
Okay.
transparent for it and tell them it's coming. And when it's ready, well, as long as you're not taking money from anyone, you're good.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. I want to
All right.
fast forward.
90 days,
I
90
want to fast
days.
forward 90 days. Yeah.
And we'll invite you back on when we have the finished product and you can show it and do it and talk about it and everything. So
Sounds amazing.
I saw, whoa, we got a bunch of questions. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me go ahead. Okay, let's see. Maryland. Okay, New Jersey. All right, health and wellness product. Will you work with other business consultants I bring on if I were to join your business launch incubator? Excuse me, I utilize the workbooks that launch the business kind of. So the answer is yes, of course. Rajesh will work with anyone you want. It's your team. We're here to support you. So if you need to bring someone on that adds value and credibility, of course, we're here to learn. We're here to talk to them and do it. The workbook, basically, the week when, let's say, we're talking about capital structure, we're talking about setting up a corporation. Okay. We'll talk about it on the video, and then we have the workbook for you to do it. Look at names, look at Nevada, look at Wyoming, look at you. We want you to feel comfortable, right, about doing it. And so there's workbooks. When we talk about branding, right, here's a good thing I like. Everyone hears about the success stories. I've already told you about success stories, but I want you to learn about the failures, right? So I asked people to go to a 99-cent store and see all the ones that didn't make it. Right? So they walk in, they're amazed by how many ones that didn't make it. So, and there's probably reasons why, right? It could be they ran out of capital, but it could be the packaging's horrible. They can't tell what it is. There's a whole host of reasons on that. So yes, the answer is we work with other people in the incubator and go on there. Sometimes when we're on a call, there's 8 people on the call because it's the husband and the wife, or the wife and the husband. One of our doctors brings their daughters on for when we're talking about look and feel, because they said that they don't let the dad choose his own clothes. So he comes on when we show all that. So anyone you want to bring on, we can bring on. So I just got here. I missed the beginning, but I want to know how I prevent someone from taking my idea. So ideas are different than secret sauce, right? So ideas, you could say, hey, I got this idea. It's a gummy and I want to put these things in it. You can't stop that, right? Yeah, that can't be from it. What you can protect someone from is stealing your name, your color, we call it copyright, your look and feel. If some of you have read the Rich Dad series, Think and Grow Rich, he has a book. He formulated that purple and gold and black, so no one else can do that for a book, right? You could write a book about thinking about how to make money, but you can't copy that thing. So from a standpoint, I don't think anyone on this call is doing patented things like, biotech or anything like that. Because if you are, we're really not the right people for that. We're more for a product selling on there. And I'm going to say most items have been done before. It's just maybe the delivery vehicle, instead of a can, it's a bottle, instead of plastic, those things. But Stella, we can jump on a call and we can walk you through it and explain that to you. Let's see. Do we have questions? Let's see for here. Do we have other calls? Let's see. No, we're here. Any other questions here? If you want to go live, I'll unmute you. Susan, do you have any questions? Dave, what kind of product? I'd love to hear the products that you're launching. You can either tell me or you can just drop it in the attach. Susan, if you're saying something, it's definitely on mute. So I have to ask to unmute. There we go. Fernando, can you unmute her? Okay, you go. Hi, Susan.
This is Susan. Yes. I'm just curious what your fees and terms are.
So it depends on where you are in your journey. right? Depends on where you are in your journey. If you need a formulation, that's one thing. If you say, I have the formulation, I need supply chain. Our basic package, where that 12-week course where we get to know everyone and work, that's $5,000 to join. It's the 12-week course. By the time you're done, you have your business plan, your MVP, you get to work with us. And then, you get a $5,000 coupon off your formulations if you were going to go forward with a formulation, right? But since we don't know what your product is, it's hard for us to say how we can work together, right? Or how many SKUs, or you might say, hey, I'm all the way ready, but I got this problem. I don't know where to make it. Then we come
Of
in.
course.
Yeah.
I understand. I've already launched a product and I've got it in some local stores, but we've decided to rebrand, and that's where we are. And we're about to relaunch again. So it's kind of a very confusing time on how do we rebrand and relaunch our product.
Well, congratulations for launching, number one.
Thank
That's
you.
okay. There's always what's called pivoting or rebranding. You saw what happened with Poppy, and they sold for $2 billion. So they launched it in a bottle that looked like a medicine product, and now there's Poppy. So nothing wrong with rebranding.
I don't think so either. Thank you.
Thank you. I need help get going. It means it's a men's line of personal care products. I need funding. So yes, a lot of people need funding. Is it Moto? So Moto, there's a lot of ways to go funding. One is there's unfortunately, the right word is credit cards. There's credit cards. There's friends and family. There's ways to get a minimal viable product, right? And so I think that's would be the answer. And then, of course, then there's SBA. There's purchase order financing. We have a Reg CF to go, but really, you have to have a minimal viable product, right? You got to be able to show someone a product and say, hey, here's the product. I'm looking for a partner, investors, but you got to be able to show something, right? So that would be my recommendation to you. And Daisy, what have you worked with white label products? So Daisy, we're an investor in a factory that does white label products. So anything from dietary supplements to gummies, you could almost white label anything, right? So all the white label means is that you don't own the formula. It's not your formula, it's someone else's. You liked it, and now what you're doing is you're putting your name on it, right? So you're a great marketer. You have a list. You have a podcast with 1 million people, and they'll buy it because you're recommending it, right? Hard to build a real brand because the formula is owned by someone else, but definitely we've worked with hair care products, shampoos, gummies, energy drinks, water, 1,000 items. So you name it, we've worked on it. Lorena, in terms of packaging, are you able to find environmental solutions? Yes. So Lorena, that is a big push right now. So definitely we can look for that. So it all depends on the branding, who your avatar is, and do they care, right? So that would be, if that's the branding, yes. I'm going to give you a little story. It may not mean anything, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway. So we launched in one of our companies, we launched the first ever hemp cigarette where the actual filter was made out of hemp, the paper was hemp, and the box was hemp. So we had hemp paper that was printed on with not regular print. It was ink. It was a special ink. And the whole idea was for the hemp user. It was at the early stages when 2018 hemp bill passed, and it was very successful for those people. But then we had other clients that said, I don't care about the hemp. I don't care about the filter. I don't care about this. I own 100 stores. They're smoke shops. I want a hemp cigarette. So it just depends on the branding. So yes, again, Lorena, what type of package? Is it a bottle? Tell me what it is and I can help more. Moto, I need a trademark.
Yes,
So
like
Moto,
for
go ahead.
perfume, for a fragrance.
A fragrance, okay. So you don't want to use glass, or do you want to use something else?
Yeah, I'd like something that would be like
Biodegradable.
in the long term, like something that's not going to clog up Yeah, the garbage.
Yeah. So Lorena, the good news is in the last 5 years, a lot of companies have come in for that. There's actually uh, trade shows just for sustainable packaging. So the issue is not going to be finding it. The issue is going to be when it goes into the COGS, depending on who your client is, that it has to be built into the sale price. But finding it is not the problem. It's making it work in the numbers. I hope I answered your
So it's
question.
still at this point a little bit more expensive than the traditional doing things.
Absolutely. Well, you know the story with straws, right? There's the plastic straw, and then there's the biodegradable straws that are probably 10 times more, but 10 times more is all relative, right? 10 times is so depending on restaurants that I go to, I will get that straw. But again, in the big scheme of things, 10 times sounds like a lot. But if I'm spending $30 on a meal, what's the big deal to give me a straw that instead of a tenth of a penny, it's a penny, right? So it just depends who your avatar is and if it fits in there. Moto trademark. So one of the things in our 12-week course, the trademark, we have a trademark attorney that will do free. He will look up the different codes that are there, classes, so different classes. So if it's men's personal care, depends if it's shampoo, if it's deodorant, he will go in and look and see what's available and then give you a percentage. Hey, Moto, it's a 90% chance that you're going to get this, or it's a 50% chance, or don't even try because someone else has something close to that. So depending on what that is, once you file, you get what's called a TM. You're allowed to start marketing the product. And then it takes about a year to get your R. So then for the next time we make product, you manufacture product, you'll be able to add the R to that. But some countries make the packaging at a low price, but the new tariffs, ugh, yes. It's welcome to the wonderful world of tariffs. I don't think they're going away. I think they just change all the time. And so, again, that's why we spend a lot of time on supply chain, cost of goods sold, built into the price. Yes, no one likes tariffs, but walk into any Walmart or Target, ta-da, there's 50,000 items. So people are still selling, you're still buying product. If the tariff went up 25% on a plastic tube or on this can for our client, it's a rounding error. Some of the clients eat it, some of the clients raise the price. So it just depends on where you are in your margins. Functional, healthy snacks are the fastest growing segment in the food industry. What are some expected challenges and how to mitigate the risk? How do you structure marketing channel implementation to gain mass appeal to position one for exit 3 to 4 years? What are some practical metrics and numbers for an exit? Functional healthy snacks. So Rajesh, I don't know where you are, but there's a huge conference going on in Las Vegas right now called Salt and Snacks and CPG experiences there. We don't have any clients right now in the incubator, but basically you need to come up with something that's different than what is out there right now, right? So healthy is the hottest space right now. I shop every Saturday morning at Sprouts. I have a app called the Bobby app. So I want to make sure that my things are Bobby approved. So I shoot it. And some things that are on there are what's hot right now is no seed oils. So there's a lot of either tortilla chips or potato chips that are not done with seed oil. They're done with avocado oil or tallow. That's a hot space right now. One of our clients, they're in the group, so it's not Masa Chips is not the client, but the founders of Masa Chips we're doing something else for them. They sell a $12 bag of chips. So yes, you heard me correctly. A $12 bag of tortilla chips done with tallow, so no seed oils. They are crushing it. Their sales are going like this. Every time I go to Sprouts, they're sold out. So I guess a good problem to have. And so mass appeal, you have to have your avatar who believes in that product. So it goes back to my first thing that I was talking about. You need to have a marketing plan. TikTok is hot right now, especially for healthy snacks. The biggest thing we see is in protein bars. So we have 2 clients doing protein bars. They're easy to ship. You get a good margin. It can go on there. So how do you structure marketing? TikTok. We'll talk about that when the 12-week plan for going. And then we do what's called a sprint. A sprint is we want you to have an exit in 3 to 4 years. But we call it sharing the wealth. So you're giving equity to distributors, to brokers, to influencers to make the company go like this. Right. So I hopefully answered your questions. Are you guys concerned about inflation can impact hardly to us as a new in business? Well, Stella, I just told you about the $12 bag of chips. So you just, when you price it, you just need to, what you don't want is a surprise, right? So am I worried about inflation? Inflation was here 50 years ago, 20 years ago. It'll be here next year. You just need to make sure that your consumer, your avatar is able to pay for the price, right? They're able to pay what you're asking for and you have no surprises. What you don't want is you think the bottle's 20 cents and then by the time it's landed to the factory with freight and everything, it's 40 cents. That's going to throw off your COGS, your cost of goods sold. So if we know going in it's 40 cents, then we can plan for it. So concerns, yeah, I wish there was no inflation and I wish there were no tariffs, but we don't live in that world. So what did you say? Avatar is an acronym. So avatar, it's not an acronym, it's the perfect client. Right? So it's called an avatar, the perfect client. So think about when you're designing your product, right? Who is it for, right? Who is that person? Are they male? Are they female? How old are they? Where do they shop? It's the perfect customer, right? There was and I forgot it now, but maybe someone can help me. I'm getting old, I don't remember. But Lululemon, when he was designing that brand, he had a person, his avatar, and it was a woman's name, and everything he did, he thought of her when he was designing it. So everything he did, he was designing it for that person. So where she shopped, where she ate, what time she worked out, clothing, colors, all those things. And so that was his avatar, and he built everything around that person. So avatar is just your perfect person. If you've heard the joke, hey, I opened the dictionary and next to accountant is this picture of this person, right? Very conservative, glasses, that kind of thing. So avatar is just your perfect customer, and we'll help you get there, right? Everyone wants to say it's the same person. Demographic, I don't think it's demographic, because demographic is more bold. It's more, a demographic is an age group. I'm saying your perfect customer. I think Nicole's nailed it. Who it is? It's probably her that has a child, a son that does it, right? I don't do the shopping. My wife does, but I could be, but my boys are older now, right? So they're more, when I say they're the avatar, they're the energy drink, right? They're buying the Calmara energy drink. They're the perfect avatar for that, right? They're gamers, right? So they're looking at, they're playing games. That's who the avatar is for that product. So I think I answered everyone's question. It's getting late on the East Coast. Thank you, everyone. I know your time is very valuable, so thank you for coming on. Hopefully I answered all your questions. Fernando, can you drop it in again? So if you'd like to set a meeting with myself, the booking, so go to the booking. If you're interested in working with us, the thing is yes, you do need capital, right? You need to come in. You have to have a budget to work with us. What you don't need a budget for is to come onto the webinar or to watch it on YouTube or to buy our books, right? There's different prices on the books. I don't even know what they are anymore. But you can go on and get the books and read them. But if you do want to set a call, at least the minimum would be $5,000 to work with us. So if you want to set a call, come into our calendar. Either myself, Jorge, or one of our team members will work with you. Just depends on what our travel schedule is. So thank you, everyone. We finished in an hour. We have 6 minutes to spare. So everyone, thank you. Hold on. We got two more messages. Oh, that was us. Thank you, guys. You're very confident. I'm excited. Great job. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.